And good morning. It's 7:03 on this Tuesday, June 23rd. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello, everybody. It is a Tuesday morning, and we do thank you for joining us. And I don't know about you, but I'm thankful we got some more rain. I don't have really little idea how much, but it looks like it had enough to get that grass turning green and growing big again. Well, we are on the air each Tuesday morning at this time for Vanderbilt University Hospital. They, of course, have the 30 minutes or less ER service pledge, less waiting time where it matters most in their emergency room. In a medical emergency, every minute matters. So at Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, faster care in their emergency room is their goal. They work diligently to have you initially seen by a medical professional in 30 minutes or less. And they do have a team of dedicated medical specialists that can provide that care. And speaking of that, we have announced and will continue to remind you of some additions at Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. One being Thomas H. Oliver, who's now providing urology care to patients at Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. He specializes in kidney stones, kidney blockage treatment, urinary tract infections, prostate disease, PSA evaluation, testosterone evaluation, male sexual dysfunction, male infertility, testicular masses and swelling, and many others. He has joined the team, and that is Thomas H. Oliver, MD, FACS. The other addition, gentleman that we met a few weeks ago, with the Vanderbilt Spine Center, Dr. Joseph Williams, Joseph Williams, D.O., MPH. He joined the Vanderbilt team in 2019, and he's duly appointed as an assistant professor in the Department of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation and the Department of Anesthesiology, Division of Pain Medicine. Some of his academic highlights include a Bachelor of Science, Microbiology, University of Texas at Austin, Master of Public Health, University of Texas Health Science Center, and research at the MD Anderson Cancer Center and Baylor College of Medicine. He is board certified in PM&R and pain medicine. So Dr. Joseph Williams and Dr. Thomas H. Oliver, two new additions for Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. Well, with that, we're going to go to the telephone this morning, and our guest is from the city of Mount Juliet, of course, as we do this most times on the second and fourth Tuesdays of the month. We have a representative from Mount Juliet City Government, and today City Manager Kenny Martin is with us. Kenny, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman, and everybody out there listening this morning.
Well, I hope you're doing well.
I am. I'm doing extremely well. You know, it's you're talking about the rain starting off this morning. You know, I'm one of those guys that really loves tinkering in the yard, so it's gotten a little dry there for a while, and after the storms that we'd all had and the tornado, you know, you don't want any rain. You don't want anything that even looks like rain. But now that we've got past some of that, you know, the grass starts drying out. I've been tickled, actually, that it's been raining. We definitely need it.
I definitely agree. And we are glad to hear your voice and to hear what the city manager has on his mind. Let me ask you first, did you have a meeting, Board of Commissioners meeting last night?
Yes, sir, we did, and we got finished up, I believe, right at 8 or maybe just a few minutes after.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good meeting. It was a good, productive meeting, and we had a small crowd there, of course, with all the COVID precautions in place, and most of those folks stayed with us throughout most of the meeting, so everything went real well.
I think you already have your budget in place. Did you have a final reading on that last night, or has that already been done?
We did have our final reading 2 weeks prior to that. However, there was one matter that's on the agenda last night that was connected to the second passage of the budget, so it had come back for a sort of a change, I guess you'd say, in what was originally required by the Board of Commissioners.
Is there any real significance to the change?
Yeah, it was numbers-wise. You know, the mayor and the Board of Commissioners had bragged on staff and the departments for working so hard to come in with a lower than status quo budget. I mean, you always wonder, how could you not do that any other year? Well, you know, sometimes you're forced to do things as a result of what's going on in the economy and many uncertainties. So we wanted to play extra cautious, and you know, we hope that we've been cautious enough. But you know how it is; you never know. So we we went what we thought was pretty extreme on being cautious. And so far, on our sales tax numbers, it looks like that the last 2 months have not been quite as less over the previous years in our sales tax revenue. So that's a good sign. Even though you always hate to be below what you were the year before, it's not quite as bad as we thought. But the one item on the agenda last night that was connected to the budget, as you know, we were hiring a new deputy fire chief, or adding a deputy fire chief to the fire department budget. And one of the requirements that had been made as part of the budget passage is that person, some of the members on the commission have the desire to try to hire that person within. And so the chief followed those wishes and the request of the commission and posted the position. But unfortunately, he didn't have anybody within the department that applied for the position. So he was basically coming back and explaining that situation to our elected body so that they could remove that mandate so he could proceed to post the position internally and externally.
Well, that's interesting, because here is a position apparently very much needed and agreed to by the Board of Commissioners, and yet there's nobody there that wants to take on that responsibility. Isn't that a little bit unusual?
It is, yeah. I mean, in my days when I was with the police department, of course, you always got excited about situations like that. And of course, I don't know near as much about fire, but with the fire department being such a young department, it's only about 7 years old, and it's not a large department like some of the ones you see around. So it's growing, it's young and maturing, and a lot of the folks in there just hadn't got quite some of those certifications that they need to get to that point. And that's what's exciting about a growing department, is that we are growing. We've got another fire station in the works. So I'd like to thank the commission and the citizens for that. It's in the design phases. The city's already bought the land. They partnered with the school system on that. It'll be down by the Green Hill High School, which is exciting. It's going to be a beautiful station. And so we'll get us a new deputy chief. We'll get us a new fire hall. Once that comes on board, we'll come back to the Board of Commissioners and citizens and start looking at that point to add additional firefighters. Really no need to add them right now until we get to the point we actually need them. But bringing this deputy fire chief in will help our fire chief, our department, especially through this building phase and our growth phase that we expect to be coming with all the residential development coming to our great city.
All right, let me ask this. Go back to the budget just a little bit here, even though that wasn't the big item last night. But are most of I believe you've got 5 people who make this up, the mayor and 4 others, and are they all pretty much in agreement on what is being provided with this budget, and think we can get through and make it okay?
Absolutely. I think that maybe one of our elected officials, I can't remember which one it was. Yeah, absolutely. They've all got their areas of expertise throughout the budget, and we give a lot of input, a lot of support. We have workshops, of course, leading up to the budget, first reading and second reading, and they do. I think there's at least one elected official that thought maybe that we probably should have went a little bit more conservative on our expectations, but we feel pretty good about it. And now that we got the most recent sales tax numbers in, we still feel pretty good, and we'll still end the year on a high note because we were doing so well, just like probably Lebanon and many other places. We're doing so well at the beginning of the year. I mean, in March we were way ahead. Of course, you don't expect a tornado and a windstorm and COVID and all the different things that have happened since then. So we've all been through it. Lebanon was through it as well. A lot of cities that we looked to that didn't deal with tornadoes. Of course, Coleman did, Nashville did, we did, and Lebanon, and and I believe even Chattanooga. So we've all dealt with some things that others haven't had to deal with. But at the end of the day, our entire country has just been through so much. But in particular, with us having these natural disasters, it's been a tough year. I tell you, we looking ahead, it's experience that you don't want to get. And you're never prepared for some things. But I'm really proud of our team, really proud of our citizens and our elected body for the work and that we've all put in to get through this. You always wonder when you see these things happening in other places, how they do it and how you rebuild and how you do this, that, and the other. And you just do. And it's teamwork. It's not just you. It's your neighbors. It's citizens. It's people pulling together. It's people being patient, forgiving, passive, you name it. And I'm really proud of that, Coleman.
Well, we are almost at a time to take a break, but I just wonder, there's been almost any time we've had you on, there's new businesses coming. What has the last, say, since March, April, May, June, 3.5 months here? What has that done to your growth, to new businesses coming in? Has it slowed down any?
Oh, it has, absolutely, yeah. And the reason is a lot of people just hit the pause button, so there'll be some pent-up demand. But right now, there's just so much uncertainty that a lot of these folks that were looking to maybe expand their businesses into Mount Juliet or Wilson County, they're sort of pushing the pause button. You know, especially if you think about it in the retail and restaurant industry, we are seeing a lot of growth and interest in industrial and distribution, things of that nature. But our focus in Mount Juliet's more towards retail, white-collar office, medical, things of that nature, some of the professional-type jobs. And you're not seeing a whole lot of that right now, but I think that as we get further along and eventually get a vaccine for this COVID, we're going to see a lot of pent-up demand. Wilson County is a beautiful place to be. It's sought after, I guess you'd say, from all over the country and beyond. And I think we're going to see some really good stuff as soon as we can get through some of this. Okay.
City Manager Kenny Martin, City of Mount Juliet is my guest. We're going to pause here for a break and talk more with him on the other side here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:14. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford and that regular oil change, only $24.95, up to 5 quarts of oil, tax and disposal. Plus, they'll pick up and deliver your vehicle back to you absolutely free. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic. Here's Chuck.
Well, good morning. We saw a couple of cars pulled over to the side. Really nothing unusual here in this area, but they're there on 65 southbound near Trinity Lane as traffic volume starts to increase down Ellington Parkway, also through Hendersonville on Vietnam Vets coming westbound all the way up to Conference Drive. Hey, it's time to have some summertime fun at Adventures Unlimited on the Ocoee River. Book online today at adventuresunlimited.net. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Coleman and Company, we thank you for joining us, and thanks to Kenny Martin for being on the phone. The on-the-air line interrupted our break conversation, but I mentioned to you that about the Logan's Roadhouse closed in Mount Juliet. By the way, they have reopened in Lebanon, and I had the opportunity to, Helen and I, to eat there last Saturday night. We just went by there and saw they were open and went in. I got to meet the manager, a nice gentleman named Travis, and they were going great. But what's happened with Logan's Roadhouse in Mount Juliet?
Yeah, and I hate that because the 3 that were supposed to close locally were Music's Valley Drive in Nashville, and of course the one in Lebanon and Mount Juliet. And I think what they decided to do, they were trying to keep as many of them open as they could, if not all of them. So they went back and renegotiated, I think, some of their leases, and unfortunately they weren't able to get that worked out at the Mount Juliet location, so they did close that store. We've had a lot of interest in it. We continue to have interest in it, but the one restaurant that was looking to go in there was going to be locally owned, and it was going to be a place called Roadhouse Mount Juliet, and it hadn't panned out yet. Doesn't mean that it won't. I don't think that it will, but there's some other folks looking at it, and I think as we press along a little bit and get further along into a vaccine and all on the COVID, that we'll see somebody probably take that location. It's a great location, and I hate it because personally I was a huge fan of Logan's, in particular their meatloaf. They had some of the best meatloaf there, and so I miss them. I hate they're not there anymore, and but we'll get that filled back in with something else, and you never know. Maybe they'll come back, but at this point, I sort of doubt that.
Yeah. Well, you said you've got quite a bit that you want to tell us this morning, and I don't want to get in your way. What's next?
No, you're not bothering me a bit. Like I said, I mentioned earlier the new fire station on Highway 70. We're full speed ahead on that. As soon as we get through the design phase, which we should be getting close on that, it'll go to bid and things of that nature, and then start construction on it. So we're still waiting on that. So it's probably going to be sometime the first quarter of next year before we get going strong on that. But very excited about that. Another thing I'm proud of is the tornado cleanup and recovery in Mount Juliet. If you come through, you'll still see, of course, West Wilson Middle School and, of course, Stoner Creek Elementary are still sort of look just like they did the morning of March 3rd. But the school system's doing a great job behind the scenes. They should be starting here real soon. They've got the fencing up around the site to start demoing those two schools, and they've got a plan to move forward to rebuild those two schools. Of course, they were totally destroyed minus just small parts of the schools, so those are going to be nearly complete rebuilds. We're excited about that, especially for the kids. We know these kids and teachers and parents have been through a lot, and we hate that, but it's going to make us all stronger. And it's one of those kind of things that when these kids graduate one day, just like these seniors this year, they'll look back and say, you know what, it might not have been some experiences that they'd like to have, but it's an experience that'll probably change them for the rest of their life, and in a lot of ways prepare them for some things. Even though it's something you'd like not to have dealt with, they did, and they've done a wonderful job. So we're excited about that. And the tornado cleanup and debris, we ended up spending probably about $1.2 million. If you don't add the $400,000 to it for the grapple truck, so about 1.5 in total for all the tools and money needed to get all that debris cleaned up. And we hope to get the majority of that reimbursed from FEMA. But I'm so proud, a lot of cities and counties weren't in a position necessary to do that, and we decided we wanted to go above and beyond, and proud of our city for that and how quick things got cleaned up. Another thing I'm proud of is that we've got lots of new sidewalks. If you go through Mount Juliet right now, everywhere you look, there's new sidewalks going in, and probably not a better time in history to have sidewalks because everybody's been so pent up. Just getting outside now, being able to walk is a good thing. So really excited about that. Another thing, too, the bridge widening the I-40 Mount Juliet Road, that's full speed ahead. We finally got all the right-of-way purchase for that, right there in where Cheddar's and things of that nature is for the transition lane. So folks will start seeing that construction project start at some point here in the near future.
Well, let me interrupt just a second here. What's that going to do to traffic? I mean, we know there's going to be some impediment. You're going to have to drive around some things, and I'm wondering to what degree that's going to impede traffic and how long it's going to take to make the change.
Yeah, the construction project probably be right at about a year. Traffic, just like anytime you've got construction and the barrels around, that can create some disruptions. But the one thing about it, always working with TDOT and our contractors and Public Works, is we always try to maintain the same amount of lanes we had before, except for just maybe a periodic interruption in one of the lanes. And what they'll do is they'll probably start the bridge widening first. You'll see them building the bridge, and once they get that additional lane added, they'll transition people over to that new lane while they start making some of the other transitions along the way. So hopefully be very little additional traffic. But the exciting thing is, especially if you come from the south side coming north, right now there is 2 lanes that cross the bridge. But the problem is one of those lanes converts into a turning lane to go west into Nashville. Mm-hmm. Now you'll have 2 full through lanes to go north on Mount Juliet Road, plus the 2 lanes to get you on the interstate. So it's going to make a heck of a difference. It's going to look a ton better. These projects sometimes just take a long time. There's so many variables to work out with right-of-way acquisition and, you name it, engineering, design, environmental. It just goes on, and it's just part of it. You got to do it right, and since it's a state road, you have to do each step the appropriate way, and, crosses the interstate, so you got federal issues. And just proud of our staff there at Public Works, and takes a while, but I tell you, if people bear with us, they're going to love the outcome on that. So,
all right, let me ask another thing regarding traffic. Of course, a lot of people have been, some people, of course, have lost their jobs, haven't been working at all. Other people have been working at home. Has traffic been a little bit better in the last 3-4 months in Mount Juliet because of that?
Oh, that's a great question, Coleman, and absolutely. I think if there's one thing that's really good that's going to come out of what we've learned through COVID, is that a lot of these folks that were having to drive into Nashville or drive to work through Zoom and other things, people have realized a lot of people will be a lot more efficient just by working at home. And so I think you're going to see a lot of that. So if there's anything we learned, it's great to have busing and, and sidewalks and bicycles and things of that nature. But a lot of folks were probably unnecessarily having to drive to certain places, just like this morning. You and I are having this great conversation. I didn't have to burn any gas. I didn't have to be another person out there creating traffic. And we're still able to do what we're doing. And I think it's a lot of good that's come from that. So you're exactly right. Of course, school's been out as well, which is a good thing, but yet have the school traffic as well. So, yes, traffic has been definitely way different.
Your police chief and some of those have probably had it a little bit easier as a result, although they've been working hard in some other areas, no doubt.
That's right. Well, Chief Luffman, he loves coming up there and seeing you, and he filled in for me the last meeting. And I said, "Are you going to call in or go up there?" He said, "No, I got to go up there." He said, "I got to see me some Coleman." So I know he's listening this morning. He loves coming up there. Yeah, and so Jamie, he's ready to go. Jamie's full energy, and he loves coming up there. And I love coming up there too. But I'm still trying to be just a little extra cautious. And I give you a break too, Coleman. You don't have to see this face, and so the longer you can go in time without seeing this face, less you are.
Well, I'll tell you one thing about Jamie Luppman. I wonder, you think he's one of these guys you'd almost have to tie down to get him to go to sleep.
Oh yeah. He goes to bed early at night, and he's a million miles an hour. And one thing I'll say about our staff, we may not be perfect, but I tell you, we got some of the best people, best human beings. And one of the things, I guess, if God blessed me with anything, is to try to find good human beings. You can have a skill set, but if you're not a good human being, it doesn't add up to be much. But if you get a good human being and they got a great skill set as well, it's just perfect. We got some of the best people, and I am just so proud of everything they do, and I know I'm mushy and old-fashioned, and sometimes we don't see that with all that's going on in our society, but we got some blessings in this city, we got some blessings in this county, and we can't change a lot of what's going on in our country and even our world, but we sure make a difference in Wilson County, and that's what we strive to do every day. And when we stump our toes or whatever, we try to learn from it and keep on trucking. So I know Jamie's listening. He thinks the world of you, Coleman, and everybody out there as well. And he's got a heart for service, and appreciate him. But if you'll keep Commissioner Justice, I meant to say that early on, in your prayers. He had a little bit of surgery, and he wasn't able to make the meeting last night. So he said to tell you hi as well. I'm not sure if he's listening this morning, but if he is, we love him and hope he gets a speedy recovery. And, he loves coming up there and talking to you as well, Coleman. You guys go way, way back.
Yeah, we sure do. Well, one thing we've had a lot of demonstrations. There's been unrest. How has that has it really at all affected you and the citizens of Mount Juliet?
Oh, it's been great. We've had probably about 3 different rallies, and I hate to even call them protests. In our city, there were more rallies, very peaceful. There was one particularly, it was moms and dads and children, and then we had one this past Saturday. Probably about 140 people came to it, and we had some local pastors and some representatives from the police department that spoke, and our police chief, and very peaceful. They gathered at Mundy Park, and we got a blessed community, and I think that probably goes beyond the borders of our city limits and beyond, and people know where our heart's at, and I think that makes the difference. We want peace for everybody and everybody to be happy. Our number one goal, of course, is public safety, and after that, it's quality of life, and we're going to continue to do everything we can to make sure that we're listening to the people that we serve, and I think we've always done that, and I think it shows. But, those went extremely well, Coleman, and, we're all for people peacefully I hate to say protesting again, but getting together for rally or protesting, and that's what we've had thus far. So we appreciate that, and we appreciate our staff and our citizens, and we continue to move forward.
All right, I got one other thing I want to address here, because I heard this really first from some local realtors, but we all know that there's been a pretty big, if you go percentage-wise, a 34% tax increase is a pretty big thing, and that's what they voted in Metro Nashville the other night. And as a result, we're hearing from realtors and from others that people are thinking about relocating, a lot of them coming east to Wilson County. And I wonder what you've heard about that, and are you anticipating such?
I am, Coleman. You couldn't have said that any better. My mom and dad, and also my brother and some other relatives, live in Nashville. I grew up there, and great city and all, but you start thinking about what is that? That averages out to about $5.50 property tax, and it's very low in Wilson County, 16.5 cents in Mount Juliet, and I do think we'll see that. I think we'll see a lot of that, and my hope to some degree is with what you're saying, not only in Nashville but other places, it'll bring a lot of jobs with it as well. You don't wish anybody any ill will whatsoever, but we've been seeing this for a long time in Wilson County, and I think with what's going on now and some of these taxes, what better place to live than Wilson County, Tennessee, and so I think you're exactly right. I'm hearing that from realtors. I'm seeing it myself. We have a lot of demand for subdivisions. Even in this time with what we're going on, the uncertainty, we still have lots and lots of businesses that are coming to Mount Juliet and Wilson County. You see it everywhere. I think you're really going to see it, for example, the Christmas store and Dunkin' Donuts. We've got 3 different Dollar General stores. We got a new Taco Bell going in. We got a Slotsky's that just opened. Will we have a few businesses that will close, Coleman? Absolutely. It's back when you think about when Gander Mountain closed, and maybe even I'm trying to think of there was a business closed, and it's now Ashley Furniture. You always get worried when you see that vacancy, or you have two or three at the same time. But one thing good about a vacancy is sometimes it allows us an opportunity to go get a new business to replace it. That's sometimes even better than the last business. So I encourage the folks that are out there listening this morning, just keep doing what you're doing that's so special. Our proximity to Nashville, our proximity to the airport with what's going on there with all the upgrades, people like yourself and MJ and Billy, and I have a great radio station like Wallen FM, Cumberland University, Wilson County School System. I mean, the people here, that speaks volumes. The low taxes, quality of life, safety, and that's for everybody listening out there. I mean that genuinely. I feel so blessed to have been a kid that was born in Nashville, had the opportunity to move to this great county in 1987, and I just love it. And I hope that shows in what we do in Mount Judah. I hope it shows in my spirit, and I hope that people realize that, and I hope we just learn to be a little more patient with one another, a little more forgiving of one another, and a little bit more loving of one another, and we can get through this together. We got to share this world together.
Well, I couldn't have said it better, and that's a good way to wind up. Kenny, thanks so much for being with us. We certainly appreciate it. I appreciate you, and we'll see you next time whenever that is, okay?
Thank you, Coleman.
All right. Kenny Martin, he is the city manager for City of Mount Juliet, and that's part one of Coleman and Company presented by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. We're going to take a break here, and part two coming up on WANT FM 98.9.
And to 729, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks, Absolute Kubota and Rental. Lamprey, quality tractor implements including cutters, finish mowers, box blades, tillers, and more. 5-year gearbox warranty, extremely durable and well-built. 1325 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. They've got this wreck to the side here on 24 westbound at Highway 231. Again, it's just a little bit of rubbernecking going on because of that accident. Again, it's in Rutherford County on 24 westbound at Highway 231. Starting to get pretty busy now on 65 southbound here at Trinity Lane. It's time to have some summertime fun at Adventures Unlimited on the Ocoee River. Book online today at adventuresunlimited.net. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
71 degrees all the way.
73 degrees, please.
So what's your perfect degree of comfort? We'll help you find it with professional Rheem HVAC service that'll keep your home comfy year-round, save on energy costs, and may qualify for utility rebates and tax credits. So enjoy a new degree of comfort.
72 degrees, and I'm good to go.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
Vanderbilt Health is honored to announce the newest addition to our family of hospitals, Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital in Lebanon. This hospital will provide care for Wilson County residents with the goal of improving the health and well-being of our newest community. Hospitals are for healing, new life, and recovery. They're places of innovation and learning. At the end of the day, hospitals are all about one thing: community. Thank you for welcoming us into yours. Let's do great things together.
Today we'll have a mix of sun and clouds with a few isolated showers. Highs today will top out in the mid-80s. For Wednesday, skies will be partly cloudy with highs in the mid-80s. By Thursday, bright sunny skies do return with temperatures once again reaching the mid-80s. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty. Professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist TJ Scott.
Coleman and Company, we welcome you to part two here on a Tuesday morning. Sean Dozier joins us, and he comes out every Tuesday to talk about our side senior living. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
It is good to see you.
It's always great to.
Did you have a good Father's Day?
I did. You know, I was traveling back from vacation Sunday morning, and
they let you go?
They let me go. And then I got a couple of days last week, and then I had dinner with my girls Sunday night, so that was nice. I paid for it. So
how old are your?
They're 21. Allie just turned 21. Anna is 19.
Oh,
so
where are they?
Allie she'll be at Lipscomb this year. That's where I went. My parents went. My grandparents went. So we're excited about that. And then Anna is at UT Knoxville.
Okay.
So I've got two in college.
Well,
so.
You have my sympathy.
Yeah. Maybe I thought the teenage years were rough, but I think these are pretty tough years too.
These may be rougher on the party.
I know.
Well, we can talk about Harside Senior Living with Sean each time. He's executive director, and it's located at 215 Castle Heights Avenue North, but actually been at this location since
1994.
1994.
Well, ground was broken in 1994. We have a plaque on the wall, Dr. Morris and Larry Locke and so many others who had a vision for this community, back in 1994. It started out as an independent living community, sort of apartment type facility, and then it switched over to assisted living about 2 years after it opened up, and it's been assisted living ever since, and it's been a great tradition for Lebanon. A lot of wonderful folks have had a great season of their life there, and we continue to offer great services. We do have some rooms available. April and May it was sort of, everybody was quarantined, so nobody was out very much. So we have some rooms available. So if you're interested, our website really has all of our prices. We don't hide our prices. They're right there on the website. Large rooms, medium rooms, small rooms, and the prices are all encompassed, Coleman. So we don't cherry pick, it's all encompassed. The prices are all set right there, so people know exactly what they're going to pay when they come in, and they're great prices. We're a nonprofit. We're not trying to, take advantage of anybody. We're trying to have a good price. We got to pay the bills, of course, but it's a great community. We have wonderful activities, wonderful chefs and cooks and all that good stuff. So if you're interested, you can look at our website at harsideliving.com, or you can obviously call us at 615-443-1994. We're still doing those virtual tours, Coleman. We haven't got to open up the facility just yet. July 1st, we're going to kind of ease into it a little bit. We've got our porches ready where families and residents can social distance. We've got covers for them so it's not so hot. We're going to allow folks to come in to visit their relatives for a short period of time with an appointment. So there's going to be some changes. It's a kind of a new normal. It's not just walking in the building like we always used to. But the good news is, and I'm excited about it, the good news is these residents are going to see families a lot more often.
But if anybody needs to be careful, from what we've heard, and people with underlying health conditions, they get the COVID and they're gone a lot of
right.
times. If anybody needs to be careful, you probably do.
And we have been very careful. We're COVID free, and I'm glad to say that our staff has done a wonderful job doing everything they possibly can to keep COVID out of Harside, and we're going to continue to do that. If we have a case, we're going to have to shut it down. So the families, the residents, our friends are all going to do everything they can to social distance, wear their masks, wash their hands, take their temperature, all that good stuff that you really need to do in a facility like ours.
Yeah, I think so, and it's not something you really like, and it gets boring and
right.
all of this. Plus, even more boring when you can't see people for
right.
all this time.
Right.
But it's hopefully worth it in the long run.
Yeah, the good news is we're going to start that phased opening next month, July 1st. So I really do believe that the residents' spirits are going to be picked back up a little bit, and they're going to be excited.
What has happened in the meantime with your with your retirement community?
The retirement community is going great. Those folks come and go as they please. They've sort of hunkered down because they're of age where they need to be careful, but they're starting to get back out a little bit more, and I'm starting to see them more active. And we haven't done any trips lately. We used to do monthly trips, but we cut all that out. We'll start back up in August. But they're doing great. We've got a nice waiting list, so to speak, for those homes down there. We finished those this year. We have 30 homes, 2 and 3 bedroom homes. They're totally all full and sold, and we're excited about that. And we just have a good waiting list to go for.
But really, they're pretty much on their own.
They are, yeah, they are. They still come up for their $3 meals. They do that. We have.
By the way, you still got Elaine cooking?
We do. Oh. Yeah, she's fantastic. Fantastic. Crystal's great. Charles is great. We've got 3 great.
Well,
great
of course,
cooks.
Elaine had a restaurant at
she
one time,
did.
so that's why I keep asking about her.
Well, she had one down on 231 North. You remember that one down there by the bridge?
I never did go, but I heard.
And then she opened up, Elaine's over here off North Cumberland. Yeah. So we ate there many times, but she's fantastic.
Well, are we ready for a Harside Hello?
I do. I just want to mention Compassionate Hands is honoring Wendy Welch Warren. Wendy, she was a friend of mine. We went to Lipscomb together, and she passed away way too early. And Compassionate Hands is having a donation drive in celebration of her life. It started yesterday and goes through June 30th. You can go by Edward Jones Financial or Dunkin' Donuts and drop off supplies, and there's a list on their Facebook page, or I'm sure you can go to their website, but I encourage everybody to do that. Wendy was a fantastic young lady, and she was married to Dr. Larimore, and just a wonderful person, and I just wanted to mention that. I continue to think about her a lot. We had several classes together at Lipscomb. In fact, her mom and my dad went to school together at Lipscomb, and just a lot of history, and I just wanted to mention that this morning.
Is that your Hearthside hello?
That is.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to mention that. I wanted to use my time to mention that.
That's a little bit different,
Yeah,
but okay.
it is.
All right. Well, thanks for being with us. See you next time.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Bye.
That is Sean Dozier. He's Executive Director for Hearthside Senior Living, 215 Castle Heights Avenue North, right here in Lebanon, and you can reach him at 615-443-1994. 21 before the hour, we continue with our programs regarding candidates for school board. We, as I said in the beginning, we did the two judges that are on the August 6th ballot first, and the rest is school board interviews. And we've got another one today. I want to welcome Mitch Rollins to our program today. Mitch is a candidate for School Board Zone 1, and he is the second of four we're going to be talking to this week. Pretty much went in alphabetical order, with the incumbent always getting to go last. But Mitch Rollins, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
It's nice to have you with us today, and we look forward to hearing about you.
Yes, sir.
So let's start. Tell us who Mitch Rollins is. Anything you'd like everybody to know about you, and then we'll find out. Get into some of the issues. We'll know about you first.
Thank you, Coleman. And before I get started, I want to thank you for this platform. And due to the situation that our country's in, it's very difficult to reach voters. And I want to thank you for that opportunity.
Well, and that is true. Campaigning is door to door is probably not the thing to do. I don't know.
Well, as a matter of fact, this is my first entry into politics. I have no hidden agenda. I have no connections. I'm going into this with a fresh face. I went to the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. My graduate studies were accomplished at Tennessee State University. I have a graduate degree in industrial organizational psychology, which is, by definition, psychology in the workplace, psychology in schools. I began in law enforcement and have retired since then. I worked in UT Police Department, also worked for Vanderbilt University Campus Police.
Oh, I'm surprised it lets you work at both. Well,
I started at Vanderbilt, then I went to UT because I went to school there, and also was involved in the 1982 World's Fair, the 1984 Olympics, in the Los Angeles Olympic Organizing Committee, trained over 15,000 security personnel. After that, I retired and got a little bit bored. My father and I decided, hey, let's look into something. And we enjoy automobiles and restoring automobiles. And we got involved with the international franchise in Clarksville for collision repair and auto painting. That was my second career of about 15 years. And during that span, we worked with Montgomery County school system. And we started a program with the police department there. It was called Operation Turnaround, where youth at risk would come into my business on Saturday morning. I would mentor these individuals, and with any implementation of programs, there's success and failures, and the successes are why we keep doing it as educators. And after that, I began teaching at MTSU in the early 2000s as an adjunct professor. I spent approximately 10 to 12 years at Austin Peay as an adjunct, and we sold our franchise. And currently, I am a instructor, professor at Nashville State Community College. I serve on the faculty senate. This will be my second term. And yes, I've had to deal with COVID-19. And in addition to that, last fall, someone hacked Nashville State's computer system and our internet, and we had to reload everything. And, I think as a school board member, you have to have a vision to be prepared for what's about to happen and not panic. Be patient. Think through your decisions, and you can overcome any obstacles if we work as a team. And that's what Nashville State did. And I've interacted as an advisor to students and parents, and I know what it's like administratively and also in the classroom. And I feel like it's very critical that we develop a humanistic approach to students. The STEM programs are obviously important: science, technology, engineering, and math. To me, these are black and white sciences or issues where I teach psychology. And I feel like that's the gray area of life where we need to develop a humanistic approach, simply defined as putting others before ourselves. If we can teach our students and adults as well to learn that principle, the world will be a better place. And we can start right now in Wilson County. And I have a concern about how the school system is going to work. You know, we have 55 days before the schools open, and there's still not a decision as to the three possibilities of how we're going to hold classrooms. Is it going to be virtual? Is it going to be back in the classroom, which would be my priority? But, of course, safety is important as well. Or will it be a hybrid, which is a combination of both? And we have had hybrid classes at Nashville State already in place, where I feel that would be maybe the best possible way to conduct school, in that students attend at certain times in the classroom, and they also do it online. It's a combination of both. And we'll make that decision as a school board member.
All right, we've already reached time to take a break here. Mitch Rollins is my guest. He's candidate for School Board Zone 1, one of four that people will choose from, and we'll find out a lot more if we go to this break here on Coleman & Company, FM 98.9.
And at 7:44, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank Bates Ford and the Works Vehicle Checkup. They'll make sure your vehicle is ready for any road. 5 quarts of oil, tax and disposal, tire rotation, and safety check. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. They've got this right to the side here on 24 westbound at Highway 231. Again, it's just a little bit of rubbernecking going on. The cause of that accident, again, it's in Rutherford County on 24 westbound at Highway 231. Starting to get pretty busy now on 65 southbound here at Trinity Lane. It's time to have some summertime fun at Adventures Unlimited on the Ocoee River. Book online today at adventuresunlimited.net. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Welcome to Hearthside Senior Living, Lebanon's unique senior living community designed for seniors to age in place, all within a safe, comfortable, and Christian environment. Beautiful retirement homes designed for an independent lifestyle with maintenance-free living. Hearthside Senior Living also continues the excellent tradition of assisted living for those seniors who need additional services. Hearthside Senior Living, an independent retirement community and assisted living community, all on one campus in the heart of Lebanon. Call 615-443-1994 for a tour.
Coleman & Company, thanks for joining us. Here we are now, our final segment here on the Tuesday morning. And again, if you're just joining us, Mitch Rollins is here. Mr. Rollins, a candidate for School Board Zone 1. I didn't really ask you why you're running. I think what you said probably gives us a pretty good clue, but you want to sum up your candidacy, why you're running here?
Well, I want to bring a fresh face to the school board. I want to bring in, again, a humanistic approach where we take care of our folks, so to speak. Just like Kenny Martin said, we're all in this together. And it's critical that we communicate, we give good leadership, and we take care of our people. As I said earlier, I feel like there's a change in the education system, obviously, due to the COVID-19 and the environment we're in. I have not been in politics. I have no commitment or any colleagues that I owe favors to. Therefore, my decisions will be based on my knowledge of the presented proposals, amendments, etc. And in my career, I've handled budgets. Budgets are numbers, and numbers change. And again, being prepared for that is critical. But I also want to emphasize that when my children attended Wilson County schools, my concern was not necessarily the budget. My concern, number one, was they got a quality education, were treated fairly, had accessibility, and were safe. And I want to make sure that the budget allows for the resource officers at all our schools, regardless of what zone you're in. The biggest fear I had was my children going to school and you don't see them again.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose focus on that aspect as well.
How many children did you have?
I have two, Stephanie and Garrett Rollins, and I'm a brand new grandfather. James Edward Taylor Rollins was born on June 8th, and I was kind of kidding my son. He barely got under the wire to get a few Father's Day's gifts. So I'm very proud of my family, my mother and father, Jim and Marlene Rollins. They support me in everything I've ever done. And I feel like my family and friends have encouraged me to be here this morning and to be on the school board and give it a chance.
Well, now you no doubt are familiar with the current school board member, and usually if you're running, you think you can do a better job. Any particular criticisms or things maybe you would have done different or that you'd want to bring out here?
Well, I'm not in a position to criticize anyone. I am in a position to bring a fresh face, a new perspective, a new vision, in that I have been involved in the educational field. I've been a businessman. And as I mentioned earlier, I do not have any connections to anyone. And I feel sometimes there's hidden agendas, and that's not going to happen when I'm elected to the school board.
You have to work with the county commission. I mean, you know our setup here, and most people are attuned to this. But the county commission has to approve the budget, the school board budget, but they can't tell you how to spend that money. And sometimes there gets to be some difficulties there, if you will. How do you feel about working with the school board members themselves and the county commission here to achieve your goals?
Well, I would look forward to the opportunity to sit at the table, and everyone has a right to your opinion, and weigh out these opinions and work together. I have negotiated contracts, policies and procedures have been written, and I have attended a few school board meetings, and I find it very interesting. And as adults, I don't know what would be the problem with sitting down, having a professional discussion, and doing what's best not only for our students, our teachers, our parents, and make the best decision that we can make. Nobody has a crystal ball. If I had that, I would be in Las Vegas probably.
Well, if you're on the school board, you're thinking primarily what we want to do for our schools and how much money it's going to take to do this and how we can maybe get the most bang for our buck. But at the same time, you're primarily interested in the school system. If you're on the county commission, you're looking at the whole big picture here. And I think you're talking about two different areas in a way. And I can understand the frustration that maybe bills sometimes. So education is so important. I mean, the biggest part of our tax dollar goes for that, and I'm sure you have a pretty good idea of what I'm talking about here. Maybe you've experienced this, but still, it's sort of it is a numbers game. It is a juggling act, and you want to get as close to perfect as you can. That can be difficult.
Yes, it can. And again, I emphasize the ability to communicate effectively and listen to people. I think a lot of people, we have two ears for a reason and one mouth for a reason. We need to keep our mouth closed and listen. Listen to our students, listen to our teachers, and take advantage of that and do the best decision-making we can. As adults, there's no reason that we can't sit down and work out a compromising issue maybe and do the best we can. And again, I understand the relationship between the school board and the commission has to be one of a proactive approach, one that puts our county school systems before others.
One of the things does have to do, of course, with the money that is spent and whether it is whether we're getting the most bang for our buck, so to speak. How do you feel about that, and how conservative or non-conservative are you with the dollar that you spend?
I am conservative. I've been called a tightwad often. You can talk to my children about that one. I feel like we need to squeeze a dime and get 11 cents out of that. And as I mentioned before, I haven't had the opportunity to review the budgets, expenditures, but in business, I have been able to balance budgets. Unfortunately, some areas may have to be cut to improve other areas. And to do that, I would have to spend time and look at the budgetary items and see what is primary to being successful.
Well, as you know, living here and knowing that in the last few years we've had so much growth, we can't hardly build schools fast enough. And if and when, well, I think when this COVID thing relaxes some more, we're probably going to have more growth to deal with, and there are going to be more schools to be built. So what's your best bet on dealing with that?
Well, I think we'll just have to look at the numbers. I do know in 1991, my wife and I moved to Wilson County because of the reputation of the school system. I feel like we still are very strong with that. And growth is important for tax dollars that allow us to do the things we need to do. I'm looking forward to seeing the opening of Green Hill High School. What a beautiful, awesome building. I know there were some issues regarding budgets where that school was built and one was built in another county and it was $23 million less, and issues like that must be addressed. And I feel like we need to plan ahead and plan for the increase and look at the concentration just to see what areas are going to experience the most growth and how can we best spend our dollar. What is priority? Those things will have to be decided as a group.
There's some people who are somewhat critical of our current school board in that maybe they've given up some of their authority to the school director. There's been some criticism about this. What would be the ideal positioning of the school board and its authority with the director of schools, and how much latitude they're given and so on? Talk about that, if you will.
Well, as serving on the Nashville State at the Faculty Senate, we're used to the TBR, reporting to them and dealing with issues kind of like you're talking about. You know, I feel like the school board should carry a little bit more weight in that we're out in the community. We have other things that we do, but we are school board members. And I feel the importance is being able to work together and who has the most power. I don't think that should be a topic. You know, it's not about this school board versus the commission. You know, we need to work as a team and establish fairness and treat one another with respect. And when decisions are made, make the best decision we can make at that time. You know, as I said prior to this, it is difficult to have a perfect 2020 vision, so to speak. No one could have planned for COVID-19. Right. And we all adjusted that, as well as myself, in that I love being in the classroom, and going to online was somewhat of a challenge, but we all accomplished that. And what percentage of school board, commission, other authority figures would have to be determined at a future time.
What kind of situation you feel would require you to be part of the school board, going to the county commission and asking for an increase? Well, I mean, maybe we really need every student to have his own personal computer. Or some real need like this. At what point do we just insist that we got to raise taxes to accomplish what we need to do in educating our students?
Well, I would consider, at a minimum, listening to parents, listening to teachers and students to assess the needs. If that were to happen, we would have to put our feet to the ground and be consistent and pursue what would be needed. I feel
most of the time when you do that, if you just ask for what you need, you get maybe 90% or 75%. So is it usually incumbent to ask for more than you need? So
absolutely, ask for this and settle for that. And I've done that all my life. I set my goals high enough to reach. Although I am realistic enough to know that even though it may be important to me and my vision, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to line up with the commission or anyone. And I feel like, again, the key to that is communication and just showing the facts that this is needed. This is going to make us more successful. This is what we need. And I feel like the voters, the parents, the citizens of Wilson County are willing to give up a little bit more taxes if needed to see that this is done.
All right, we're in our final minute or two here, and again, Mitch Rollins. I'm sorry, sir.
That's fine.
Mitch Rollins is here. I want you to summarize your candidacy and take about a minute and a half here to tell us again why you think you should be the next school board member representing Zone 1.
Thank you, Coleman, again for allowing this opportunity. I'm bringing in a brand new face. Various diverse experiences with human beings, and how decisions affect human beings. And I do not have any allegiance. I don't owe anybody this or that. And my vision, my decisions will be solely based on the facts that I see. My experiences in life have prepared me for this position, and I want the opportunity to prove myself. I have total accessibility. My email is mitchrollins@aol.com. Yes, I know that's old. You can reach out to me that way, and when I'm elected to the school board, I'll give you my cell phone number. I want to be accessible, and I think decisions have to be made with all parties involved. And that sometimes is going to hurt some feelings possibly, but we have to stay focused on what's best for our students. Our students are our future, our generation, and we have to teach our students to be responsible and take responsibility for their actions and become the best that they can be.
Well, I want to thank you for being with us. We have come to the end of our time here, but it's been a delight to talk with you, and we'll be doing election returns on the 6th of August, so you're welcome to come.
Look forward to
be
that.
Part of that.
Look forward to that.
Mitch Rollins, candidate for School Board Zone 1. And that's it for a Tuesday. Join us tomorrow for the Wednesday edition. Till then, I wish you a tremendous day.